Continuing with Deuteronomy 11:27. Behold, I set before you this day a blessing and a curse. A blessing if you obey the commandments of the Lord your God, which I command you this day, and a curse if you do not obey the commandments of the Lord your God, but turn aside out of the way which I command you this day, to go after other gods which you have not known. And it shall come to pass when the Lord thy God has brought thee into the land into which thou dost go to possess it, that thou shalt put the blessing upon Mount Gerizim and the curse upon Mount Ebal. Are they not on the other side of the Jordan, by the way where the sun goes down, in the land of Canaani, who dwell in the Arava over against Gilgal, beside the terebinths of Moreh? For you shall pass over the Jordan to go in to possess the land which the Lord your God gives you, and you shall possess it and dwell in it. And you shall observe to do all the statutes and judgments which I set before you this day. These are the statutes and judgments which you shall observe to do in the land which the Lord thy God of thy fathers gives thee to possess it, all the days that you live upon the earth. You shall utterly destroy all the places in which the nations whom you are to dispossess serve their gods, upon the high mountains, upon the hills, and under every leafy tree. And you shall overthrow their altars and break their pillars, and burn their Asherim with fire. And you shall hew down the carvings of their gods, and destroy the name of them that out of that place. This you shall not do to the Lord your God, but to the place which the Lord your God shall choose out of all your tribes to put his name there. There shall you seek him at his dwelling, and there shalt thou come, and there you shall bring your burnt offerings, and your sacrifices, and your tithes, and your offerings of your hand, and your vows, and your freewill offerings, and the firstlings of your herds and your flocks. And there you shall eat before the Lord your God, and you shall rejoice in all that to which you put your hand, you and your households, wherein the Lord thy God has blessed thee. You shall not do after all the things that we do here this day, every man whatever is right in his own eyes, for you are not as yet come to the rest and to the inheritance which the Lord your God gives you. But when you traverse the Jordan and dwell in the land which the Lord your God gives you to inherit, and when he gives you rest from all your enemies round about, so that you dwell in safety, there shall be a place which the Lord your God shall choose to cause his name to dwell there. There shall you bring all that I command you, your burnt offerings and your sacrifices, your tithes, and the offering of your hand, and all your choice vows which you vow to the Lord. And you shall rejoice before the Lord your God, you and your sons and your daughters, and your men servants and your maidservants, and the Levite who is within your gates, for he has no part or inheritance with you. Take heed to thyself that thou offer not thy burnt offerings in every place that thou seest, but only in the place which the Lord shall choose in one of thy tribes. There thou shalt offer the burnt offerings, and there thou shalt do all that I command thee. Nonetheless, thou mayest slaughter animals and eat their flesh to thy heart's desire, according to the blessing of the Lord thy God which he has bestowed on thee. Throughout thy gates, the unclean and the clean may eat of it as they do of the gazelle and the deer. Only you shall not eat the blood, which you pour it upon the earth like water. Only you shall not eat the blood, you shall pour it upon the earth like water. Thou mayest not eat within thy gates the tithe of thy corn, or of thy wine, or of thy oil, or the firstling of thy herds, or of thy flock, or any of the vows which thou vowest, or thy freewill offerings, or offerings of thy hand. But thou must eat them before thy Lord thy God in the place which the Lord thy God shall choose, you, thy son, and thy daughter, and thy manservant, and thy maidservant, and the Levite who is within thy gates. And thou shalt rejoice before the Lord thy God in all that to which thou puttest thy hand. Take heed to thyself that thou forsake not the Levite as long as thou livest upon the earth. When the Lord thy God shall enlarge thy border as he has promised thee, and thou shalt say, I will eat meat, because thou longest to eat meat, thou must eat meat to thy heart's desire. If the place which the Lord thy God has chosen to put his name there be too far from thee, then thou shalt kill of thy herd and of thy flock, which the Lord has given thee, as I have commanded thee, and thou shalt eat in thy gates to thy heart's desire. Even as the gazelle and the deer is eaten, so thou shalt eat them. The unclean and the clean shall eat of them alike. Only be sure that thou eat not the blood, for the blood is the life, and thou mayest not eat the life with the meat. Thou shalt not eat it, thou shalt pour it upon the earth like water. Thou shalt not eat it, that it may go well with thee, and with thy children after thee, when thou shalt do what is right in the sight of the Lord. Only thy holy things which thou hast, and thy vows, thou shalt take and go to the place which the Lord shall choose. And thou shalt offer thy burnt offerings, the meat and the blood, upon the altar of the Lord thy God. And the blood of the sacrifices shall be poured out upon the altar of the Lord thy God, and thou shalt eat the meat. Observe and hear all these words which I command thee, that it may go well with thee and with thy children after thee forever, when thou dost that which is good and right in the sight of the Lord thy God. When the Lord thy God shall cut off the nations from before thee, whither thou go to possess them, and thou dost succeed them, and dost dwell in their land, take heed to thyself that thou not be ensnared into following them after they are destroyed from before thee, and that thou inquire not after their gods, saying, how did these nations serve their gods? Even so will I do likewise. Thou shalt not do so to the Lord thy God. For every abomination to the Lord which he hates have they done to their gods. For even their sons and their daughters they have burnt in the fire to their gods. Every matter which I command you, observe to do it. Thou shalt not add thereto, nor diminish from it. If there arise among you a prophet or a dreamer of dreams, and he give thee a sign or a wonder, and the sign or the wonder comes to pass, of which he spoke to thee, saying, let us go after other gods which thou hast not known, and let them serve them, and let us serve them, and let us serve them, thou shalt not hearken to the words of that prophet, nor that dreamer of dreams. For the Lord your God puts you to the proof, to know whether you love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul. You shall walk after the Lord your God and fear him, and keep his commandments, obey his voice, and you shall serve him, and hold fast to him. And that prophet or that dreamer of dreams shall be put to death, because he's spoken to turn you away from the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Mizraim, and redeemed you from the house of bondage, to thrust thee out of the way which the Lord thy God commanded thee to walk in. So shalt thou put the evil away from the midst of thee. Deuteronomy 13:7.